What's up, you guys? The Strange Skull here, once again, with another episode of your favorite show, Skull Picks. Now, I know I've been going for a while, life's been crazy, and again, for those watching this in the future, I was just recently on Spaceman's channel, just doing another Spaceman Live, doing our review of Captain Marvel. Why am I bringing up Captain Marvel? Well, in this episode of Skull Picks, I will be giving my recommendations for actually good Captain Marvel content. By Captain Marvel, which I mean Carol Danvers, when she was actually a good character. And not a firebrand, the mascot for SJW, NPC, whatever the hell you want to call it, these libtards' political points of view. And also, I'm going to show you a pretty damn good Skrull story and just a couple other good books to read if you guys, again, out there want to read some good comics. Okay. First one on our list here. For an animated show, I really like Gargoyles. And this one is their first volume. Now, this book is a little hard to find. The comic shop that I go to really, it came through with me on this one and got me the first. There's 3 volumes to this, but they're really, really pricey on this. I don't recommend spending like over $100 for this, but the book is called Clan Building. Now, if you all were fans of the Gargoyle TV show, this picks up right after season 3. Because the creator of Gargoyles, Greg Weisman, after the show got popular, Disney at first, they didn't give a shit about this show. But once it got popular, then Disney had to sink its claws into it and kind of take it away from Greg. That's where you got the show, the Goliath Chronicles, season 4. But really it's not, because Disney didn't know what the hell they were doing. Greg Weisman had no involvement in it and took the life and soul out of the show, and you got crap. Now, this book, Clan Building, this is what Greg Weisman intended where the show would go. Now, in this book, in Clan Building, like I said, it takes place right after the season 3 finale, where the whole world knows about gargoyles. That's pretty much what happens, and now they're trying to live with it. And also, too, it really delves deeper into Goliath and Elisa Maz's relationship, and how can, like, it's kind of like it's really Beauty and the Beast. Can she love him, and can they really be together where she's a human and he's a gargoyle? It's a really good book. I pick it up. Volume 2, it's called Wanted, and that one is really hard to find. My comic shop couldn't get a hold of it. It's out of print, which is a problem with a lot of these Disney animated show books. Like, there's another great one. I wish I could show you guys, but I do not have any copies of it because they are just that hard to find. Another Disney animated show that I loved from the 90s, Darkwing Duck. They did almost like a 5-volume series on Darkwing Duck, and it's pretty awesome. If you can find him, there was a YouTuber who used to be associated with Channel Awesome. He was the Blockbuster Buster. I think he has a YouTube channel. Look him up and see if he still has his Darkwing Duck cartoon, comic book reviews from the cartoon. He goes really in-depth with those, and I truly recommend it. It's a great vid. Check it out. Now, I did promise that we're going to talk about Carol Danvers. Back when she was a good character and was Ms. Marvel, this next one I'm going to show you is from kind of the end of Civil War. This is right after the events of Marvel Civil War. So Cap is dead, and there's two teams of Avengers. There is Luke Cage's New Avengers, which is pretty much the leftover Brian Michael Bendis' team. It has Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Wolverine, Spidey, and a couple other characters. Doctor Strange sort of joins that team. But then Tony Stark creates his version of the Avengers, which is here right now. The Mighty Avengers. Now, the Mighty Avengers, Carol, as she's in her true identity as Ms. Marvel, right here, she is the team leader. Sort of, because Tony's the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's running what they call the 50-state initiative, where there's superhero teams in every state in the United States. It's the government-controlled superheroes, but this is his Avengers team. Down here, this is Ares, the Greek god of war. The Sentry, which is, to be fair, it's Marvel's version of Superman. More issues on him to come later, because I really don't like the character that much. Down here is Wonder Man, Classic Avenger, sort of a, almost sort of like a pseudo-Superman, a bit if you don't know. And I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera here. This is the Wasp, and Black Widow, and of course, Tony in one of his Bleeding Edge armors. Now, this first volume is called The Ultron Initiative. Really good book. I really, truly recommend it to get on the series, but also, too, this leads into another book I have here to show you guys about the Skrull. But now, in this book here, they build the team. They're trying to get, working out as a team. Their first big fight, they fight the Mole Man. Just randomly shows up in the middle of New York, and his Moloids and all of like his underground monsters show up, and the Mighty Avengers here have to stop them. But the thing is, Mole Man's not really attacking as so much as he's running from something. And you find out it's Ultron. It's a virus, and it's something involving with Tony. I'm not going to say anything more. It's going to spoil it. But I truly do recommend it. It was a good read. It was back when Brian Michael Bendis actually could write good, compelling stories that were not filled with SJW politics. And also, Frank Cho's beautiful artwork, gorgeous women, where the women actually had shapes, actually looked like women. And the guys are ripped, and they're beating the shit out of things. What more could you want? And also, this is going to cause some comic fans to be annoyed with me, but I love this book because it introduced one of my favorite D-list characters, which is Ares, the god of war. I love the character. Granted, all he was a discount Thor to be on the team. But he just worked out great. I liked the character. He was sort of like their version to have a Wolverine and a Thor on the team. It was good. I liked him. He was a good character, and it led for him to do a lot more stuff in the Marvel Universe to come. Particularly what was to follow in this next book and the book that follows it, Dark Reign, which I will be doing more videos on. Because I view this next book and Dark Reign are the last big events that Marvel did that were actually good. And here it is, Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was a really good storyline. It tied a lot of things together that Brian Michael Bendis had been writing for, at that point, the past like 3 or 4 years, which he started with another series that I didn't quite read. My brother really read it, but I didn't. It was called The Illuminati. That was it was a pseudo team put together of all like the more prominent members of the Marvel universe. Not necessarily the most powerful people. It was Doctor Strange, Professor X, Iron Man, Namor, Black Bolt, and Mr. Fantastic. They all got together in kind of like a cabal to try and like stop big problems. This whole events of Secret Invasion, the creation of the Illuminati, all started because of an event Marvel did back, I think, the early 80s or mid 80s, called the Kree Skrull War, which I almost bought a copy of that today, but I didn't. I am going to buy it, and when I read it, I will do a review of it. But in summary, the Kree Skrull War kind of brought an intergalactic war to Earth and almost kind of destroyed Earth in the process. And Tony Stark got the idea to bring all these guys together to form the Illuminati to try and be a first response team to quell arguments and or just stop, because they didn't want the Kree Skrull War to anything like that to happen again. Because then following that, they did Operation Galactic Storm, which was pretty much a team of Avengers went into space to take the fight to the Kree and the Skrull to try and make sure this didn't happen again. But even that, it didn't do anything. Now, in this book, Secret Invasion, this is directly tied to what Tony and the others did, where they attacked the Skrull. And the Skrull enacted a plan from that moment to start infiltrating Earth. And they start by taking out the superheroes. It's a really good book. I recommend it. Now, with a lot of these Marvel events, particularly it started with Civil War, there are there are like 5 other tie-in books. I don't have all of them. I have like a couple. But it was just like the main comics at the time, like Spider-Man, X-Men, The Initiative, New Avengers. I don't have the Mighty Avengers tie-in, but there's just like so many tie-ins where after a while you're just like, Jesus. And most of the time the tie-ins don't fill a lot in. But this just gives you the main issues of Secret Invasion, the main actions from start to finish. Beautiful artwork, and they include the covers in here, which are pretty cool, like these cool like propaganda things where it'd be like a normal photo, but like one of them's human and the other's a Skrull. It's really cool. I loved it. I recommend it. But also, too, why I like this book so much is it just shows you the nature of the Skrull and why they're dangerous. Because, again, if you saw the Captain Marvel movie, you'd see why I was so angry of how they're portrayed. It's not how they are. And this, again, can't recommend it more than enough. It's a real good book. And now, I'm going to take you on another one. But this one is definitely something, if you guys watch the Spaceman's channel, you know who his favorite comic book character is. And this is one of my favorite runs ever of the Hulk. And that is the introduction of the Red Hulk. This is by Jeff Loeb, the writer. He writes this. He also did a lot of good stuff with Superman and Batman over at DC. He did Superman Blue. Superman for All Seasons. He did Batman The Long Halloween. He had at least, I forget how many issues run on Superman Batman. That was a really good book. I'll show some of those issues here because they're definitely skull picks. And for Marvel, which has become his home, because Jeff Loeb is now running Marvel Television, because that's his home. That's when he got started his career in his television, mostly animation. But then he switched over to comic books. And really, after he left DC, Marvel, just like I said, Marvel just became his home base. I guess he saw more opportunity here, and Marvel let him play with a lot of stuff. He did a graphic novel series, Daredevil Yellow, and then Spider-Man Blue. I think Daredevil Yellow, it might have been John Romita Jr. doing the artwork. I'm not sure. I haven't read either one of Daredevil Yellow or Spider-Man Blue, but if you find them, I'm pretty sure they're good because I like Jeff Loeb's writing style. He's not the greatest writer, but he's pretty good. But now, this book, the beginning with Red Hulk, that's what this, if you're looking for this trade, this is just volume 1. This went on for years, culminating in a gigantic storyline, but it started here. This one is just called Red Hulk. Now, they do have this broken up into big, thicker collections. I have volume 2. I still need to get volume 1, but this is my original trade that I got years ago. But now, this storyline this follows the events of World War Hulk, where Bruce Banner is captured by the government. But this also starts off, the Avengers are in Russia, and they're investigating a murder scene. She-Hulk is there, and Doc Samson. Somebody is dead. You take a little bit to figure out, it's the Abomination. Now, the Abomination is pretty much a very heavy hitter in the Marvel Universe. He's almost, pretty much, without the Hulk getting super enraged, he can take the Hulk in a straight fist fight. But when they find the Abomination's corpse, he's been beat the shit out of. It's like he didn't even get a chance. Somebody just showed up, got the jump on him, and just pummeled him. And the thing is, too, they're all shocked because even the Hulk can't pummel the Abomination like this without the Abomination even being able to fight back. But that's not how the Abomination died. Someone shot him to death with a big gun. And then you find out later on, they think it's the Hulk that did this because there's gamma radiation around. But Banner is locked up. And then someone attacks a SHIELD helicarrier, and it's this guy right here, the Red Hulk. He is pretty much the Hulk, but smart. He knows battle tactics, and he just fucks everyone's day up. And the reason why I love this book so much is this guy right here, McGinnis, Ed McGinnis. This guy is like one of the best artists to draw the Hulk. The dude can just draw big, muscular figures just pummeling each other. Now, Loeb and McGinnis have worked a lot of times. The first time they worked together was on a Batman-Superman project called Public Enemies. Really good book, really good storyline, awesome artwork. Even though I think Ed McGinnis' Batman is just a little bit too ripped to shreds, but this is my personal preference. But this is just volume 1, and you get awesome fights. Of course, the Red Hulk and Hulk do square off, but Red Hulk fights the Avengers. He fights Thor, and it's just an awesome, awesome fight. I can't recommend it enough. And just to shake things up, because I didn't do it in my last Skull Picks, figure we've done a lot of Marvel. I think it's time to go over to DC and pull out one of my favorite stories, and a very kind of pseudo-controversial one at the time, even nowadays, even more controversial today. And that is the new Teen Titans, The Judas Contract. And why is this book controversial? Well, Deathstroke the Terminator is trying to kill the Teen Titans. But this girl right here in the middle, Tara, she's like 14 or 15 in the book. And it's heavily implied that her and Deathstroke are lovers and are sleeping together. And Deathstroke's like 50. Again, it's a really good story because this is also when Marv Wolfman and George Perez got to restart the Teen Titans. They had to change a lot of stuff, and also they introduced a lot of characters, particularly Raven, Cyborg, and Starfire. They were brand new characters that they got to create to put in the storyline, so the Teen Titans just wasn't the Junior Justice League that the Teen Titans were for a couple decades, and it just didn't sell well. And in this Judas Contract storyline, the very first beginning of it, they go on a mission. They're going after they're looking for stuff with Brother Blood. And after that mission, Kid Flash leaves the team. He doesn't want to be Kid Flash for a while. And Robin decides he's not going to be Robin anymore. He's not quitting the team. He's just not going to be Robin anymore. And this leads to the introduction of him right here in the corner here. He becomes Nightwing. But this is just, it was a really good story. A really good storyline. And these two guys, just Marv Wolfman and George. Marv and George, DC were just letting them go forward with their storyline because they took a book that no one really cared about, and it was selling pretty good back in the 80s to where it was outselling like bigger titles. This, I wouldn't be surprised if like this line also led to I think it was definitely during the 80s it led to a crossover between the Teen Titans and the X-Men. That just shows you how popular these two guys made what was considered the Junior Justice League on par enough to compete to be in a story with, at the time, Marvel's best team. Sorry Avengers, but the X-Men were Marvel's A-team, and they had a crossover with the Teen Titans. I would love to find that issue or that trade, because it has like sort of my favorite X-Men in it from that era, Wolverine, Colossus and stuff, and just to see Wolverine fight Deathstroke, who is one of my favorite DC characters, would be awesome. I can't recommend this book enough. It's really good. George Perez, a artist who is just an artist in all truest of words, where literally the man does not consider a page done until he has filled it with awesome images and just some very beautiful artwork. The way he draws these characters is just so awesome. And George, again, like I said, he's an artist who feels like, I have to fill every square inch of this page. I can't leave anything just like, I'm not just going to draw an empty valley. I'm going to draw like cool rocks, or like, for instance, when he used to work on the Avengers, well, when the comic artists get their little slides of what they're supposed to draw, it just said, Avengers in the control room. Well, he went, okay, and he turned into a double-page spread with this gigantic, expansive room that was like 5 levels high, and he filled it with highly detailed characters. Literally, he challenged himself to fill a page with damn near every character in DC once. And he did it with Marvel too. It was just, the man was just a true artist. And it is kind of sad too, he has retired from comics because of just, he got tired of the bullshit that's going on in comics right now. It's sad because this guy is a fucking great artist, and he got pretty much just chased out of the comic industry because he won't draw their bullshit. He won't conform to these ideas that comic characters have to look a certain way. Is that how he works? And he draws beautiful characters. It's just a fucking shame. And it shows you, too, how far this industry you and I love. Comic books. Because it doesn't matter if you're black or white or Asian or what the hell ever. we all love comic books. Comic books is like a universal language. And these NPC SJW assholes are trying to steal it away because it's a way that you and I and all of us can connect because we love these characters. Because whether it's a woman, gray, we can all picture ourselves, like, understand the problems that these characters have. Like the Teen Titans here. They were like the X-Men for DC. They all had problems. And that's what made them relatable. Sorry for that rant, guys. It's not generally what I do skull picks for. So, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a like and hit notifications when I know it's hard for me when I post videos, but you know what, guys? I'm trying here. It's kind of hard to admit. Old Strange Skull here has got a lot of self-confidence issues, and it takes me a little while to get motivated to do these videos, and I apologize for that. I'm trying to get better with this. I'm learning my tech a little bit more and trying to give you the best of what. Comment in the description. Let me know what you like, what some issues, what some other comics you want to suggest. See if I can find, review for, and we'll talk about it here. Also, check out my buddy Spaceman's channel, which you probably already know. Bastard's got over 600 subscribers, but hey, he works hard on it. You can catch me on that channel, and mainly you can catch me here. I am the Strange Skull, and please, keep reading comics. Don't let these dickheads win. Be safe, everyone.